What's going on, everybody? I hope that dude's here. I didn't email the dude. I hope the guy's here. If you guys haven't heard this song or seen this video yet, holy fuck. If you haven't heard of Igor yet, you need to. This is one of the craziest bands I've ever heard. Is this pop punk and modern rock? No, it's metal. It's weird experimental shit. That's not what we're doing today, though. What we're doing today is a bit different. We're gonna do some rock and or roll. Did my presets ever get put into here? No, they didn't. They didn't. Maybe I just didn't. I don't have the new version installed, maybe. I don't know. Either way, we're going to have some fun today. With a few different plugins, let's go down the lineup of things you're going to see today. If there's something you think that should be on this list, by all means, let's talk. And if you're in the chat, you might win something. You never know. So always chat with us. Say hi. My name is Tyler. Welcome to the Amp Show, episode 197, the morning edition. We don't do chugs here in the morning. We're taking a modern rock guitar and pickup setup-ish and putting it into some more vintage scenarios to try to get more of that modern rock approach and kind of tone. The plugins I have set up today aren't really necessarily going to be... Excuse me. All right, that's better. And if you're in the comments, if you're in the chat or the comments after the fact, do say hi. Even if you're watching this after the fact and you want to chat with us, do that. Do that. Please do. Get the comments going. I will respond if I start seeing more of them. I only see like one every so often. And it's usually one of y'all that watches our streams like in the chat. You know, you're usually in the chat, but in this particular situation, you are not. I just changed the strings here on the Mindzinger, and it actually needs a fret polishing. I didn't have enough time to do a good fret polishing today, but I got these nice new DiMarzio polishing cloths that are really good, really great for polishing the frets. However, I did not have the time to do what the job I needed to do, so here we are. I stand before you, a broken and miserable man. So we're just going to get some easygoing tones to get started. I have the Diamond Sound from Aurora DSP, and that is essentially two different amps from La Boga that we can go over the analog versions. We have the F59, which, you know, I'm actually going to take this... no, we're going to keep it in and see if this can fit in and do some more modern rock sounds. Today we're after like pop punk. It's more modern punk sounds. Whether it be modern skate punk, modern pop punk, we're after a few different things. What's going on, Ton? I was hoping you'd be here. I should really... Oh man, it's a bummer that dude's not here. I meant to email him. Hopefully he drops in because this is kind of more his speed. We've got the F59 from Fuse Audio Labs. We've got the MRH 159 from Membrini Audio. We've got the Amp Knob BDM, the Howard Benson tonality from STL Tones. We have a couple plugins from Audiority. Our freebie today is going to be the Audiority L12XXX. This thing is a beastly rock machine. It can also do plenty of metal, hardcore, stoner rock. It can do doom. This thing is super versatile. And we're all inside the one red channel here. You don't even really need to go to clean or metal, but right now, not a lot for great clean tones on the market. So I would say some of the best clean tones you're going to get are in this guy right here, this clean amp. The Solidus VS8100 is where maybe we could start here because I know exactly what I'm after with this. We'll start here with this lovely plugin and then we'll move along. This is going to be a fun day, I'm sure. Fun stream. I'll show you guys how I set this up. Actually, let's just keep it on the face for a minute. And this is how I like to set this amp up and how I set it up in real life for a very long time when it was my main amp that I had for a very long time. Also my Singer's main amp. So we're just gonna see what we can do here today. That's sounding good already. And we're looking for something, you know, we're looking for beef. We're looking for beef, but like crunch at the same time. It's sounding pretty good to my ears. I don't know about you guys, but it could probably max out a little bit more of this. I'm gonna go buy apples. I'll be back in 15 minutes. That's a random comment, but that's cool, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for the play-by-play. It's gonna be a slow burn this morning, I think. I feel like today's gonna be a slow boy, and that's okay. I'm gonna go after more of a. What do I want to go after for the overdrive? Do I want an SD1 today? Let's go the yellow drive from Plugin Alliance. That's the only... Actually, you know what? Let's go with the VZ Tech. No. VZ Tech Overdrive. This thing's cool. I like it. So let's use this today as our update available. Oh my God. I'm sure it'll be fine. We'll be okay. We'll survive without the update today. And we could also pull out the Klon. We could, I suppose. We're going after more of a modern, but I guess that Klon sound has become... I knew I'd have to just do a little bit of... As soon as I started laying into these strings, I did stretch them out, though, so I'm not really super concerned we're going to have tuning issues, because it's the Mindzinger. This thing very seldom has any tuning issues. That's all. That's what we're going after today. Less of a dad rock kind of feel and more of that mid-gainy crunch modern sound that you hear on Sirius Octane Radio. One of the things that the wife and I do on Fridays, well, I'm not going to say every Friday, but it is becoming quickly a tradition around here, is when we cook dinner together on Friday nights. We go over a playlist called All New, as in NEW, not new with the umlaut, but new metal, all new metal. And because we want to see what's out there today. And we will discuss it almost like we would be doing if we were in some sort of like a live reaction video, like some sort of reaction video on YouTube. Just being funny. And I have to say, I've never been more deflated than I was yesterday. This playlist, this time around, all new metal here. We went down a good 30 songs, and the rules are you have to listen to at least 1 minute of the songs. And I have never been more disappointed in so much garbage. Hanabi has to be, or Anabe, Hanabi, or however you pronounce this band name, is one of the worst bands I have ever heard in my entire fucking life. Ever. This is the Babes in Toyland version, the modern version of Babes in Toyland. If you're not familiar with that band from the 90s, go and listen to how just catastrophically terrible they were. No disrespect to L7 or even Hole for that matter. There was lots of good, call them like lady grunge bands. There were a lot of them back for a little there for a while. But Hanabi has to be one of the worst bands I've ever heard in my entire life. In my grown life, I've never heard something. It's just so bad. Wano, what's going on? Anyways, we did that last night, and I was so deflated by the time. Everything was the same. Heavy part, melodic part, heavy part, melodic part. And we were like, and then as soon as you start to get into something, you're like, this is okay. This is good. And then all of a sudden, the pause, the breath with the breathy. Every singer sounded the same. Every mix sounded the same. I was so sad. And then I found a different playlist that has a little bit better metal. So we're gonna switch to that. All right. This is the Solidus VS 8100, and out in front we had the VZ Tech Overdrive, and this is just simply on the normal channel. And I mean, pop punk playing rather has not really changed a lot over the years. It's always been sort of the same, and it's, you know, it's relatively simplistic. It requires crunchy guitar tones, lots of palm muting, lots of generally palm muting in the verses and open chords in more open, bigger chords. They use a lot of bigger power chords. And why are we talking about modern rock like something, you know, Octane, Sirius Radio, Octane? You know, all those three-word band names, Butterfly, The Glass. You know, just take any random 3 words you like, put them in together in a word, and it's a band you could potentially hear on Sirius Octane. The very well-produced, extraordinarily well-produced, but very forgettable bands. There's so many of them that are just so forgettable. But the guitar tones are fan-fucking-tastic. And the thing is, the same guitar tones, a lot of the same gear, a lot of the same production techniques are now being used on pop punk records. Modern pop punk records sound exactly the same as those, you know, big rock band albums, even like Nickelback or Godsmack or those bigger, you know, Disturbed. All that production is starting to kind of come together in the middle, where there's a lot of drum samples being used for over the natural drum tones. There's a lot of auto tune being used in both. It's essentially one is just the other, but drop tuned down a couple of steps and maybe with more chugs. But the gear is relatively been the same. And the valve state, while being an old amp, the valve state is an amp that I would 100% suggest that you probably could use still right now for modern rock, all kinds of, especially on an album or live. This amp, you put it together with a good sounding 412 cabinet. If you can get your hands on a valve state still, and we had determined yesterday that they're like $600 or $800. They're very expensive. You can't just walk into a pawn shop like you could 10 years ago and pick up the nearest valve state for $100. That's a thing of the past. People have wised up. People understood that, hey, this amp is still this amp is a banger. We're gonna just, you know, we're gonna collect these. Now, a lot of people have collected the ones that were out there and put them into their amp collections or their amp walls and behind their studio amp walls and stuff. It's a great amp to have around. As you can hear for that is very much that's just, there's nothing going on in the chain here, and I got a cat hair. I see you. Catch you, motherfucker. Hit my mic stand at the same time. Streaming injury. Hope you guys are having a great day today. 5 people in the house. Do chat me up. It is the morning. And we're after some rock tones. Modern rock, modern pop punk, that kind of stuff today. There is a no chug guarantee on Saturday mornings, unless we're after something like we're after a certain artist tone that's got chugs. And for the IR, in this case, we are using, oh, would you look at that? The Dr. Bonkers EGA 412 414 Hyperreal Mix. I wonder how that got in there. I have no idea. It's a fantastic sounding IR. If you don't already have that pack, it is the greatest, in my opinion, for me and my use. This IR that you'll find in the Hype Real Mix section of this pack is the greatest single IR I have ever used for any purpose ever. I use it constantly, and I probably, I would say 85% of the tones you're hearing on this channel, because I'm such a stubborn, I love amps. IRs, I love IRs too, but I love amps more, and sometimes I just like to park an IR there and just get into the amps, you know? And this is by all means not supposed to be the most vintage of vintage rock sounds. We're going after more of a, like last week we're after more of it, that old school kind of rock sound. This week, the pickup scenario I've got going on is quite different. It's a quite different scenario. Last week I had a PAF Pro 36th anniversary in the bridge, and today I've got the Aurora Tone, Singularity, and it's a fantastic pickup, but these are very different pickups. That needs a little bit of a toot. It's a rather dark IR as well, but I'm kind of digging on the tones we are getting at this point. They're very muscular sounding, very full sounding tones, and that is what it takes for pop punk and modern rock these days, is you are listening to a wall of guitar tone. That's why I always tell people, whether you like Nickelback or not, the production values are very high. Speaking of production values that are very high, a band that I don't like very much, I listened to, as part of that list yesterday, the newest Motionless in White song. And while the song wasn't the worst thing I've ever heard, I mean, I'm kind of glad that bands like that exist, because it gets kids into metal. And you see a lot of those are gateway bands for kids, just like there are gateway bands like Cradle of Filth, for example. For many of us, when we were younger, for me, gateway bands would have been like Metallica and Megadeth, and those were the gateway bands of back in the day. But yeah, I kind of think that it's fun that Motionless in White exists so that kids can like metal. But if you're an adult that likes them too, that's fine too. Whatever, you do you. But anyways, the guitar tones and the production values are just so high. Well, once again, when you listen to that newest Motionless in White album, it's not going to be any different than the newest production on the newest pop punk record that's coming out either. These are very, very similar production values, because somewhere along the line someone said, hey, these Nickelback records sound good, and pop punk isn't all that different than what these guys are playing anyways, so like, why not? Not to say that pop punk and Nickelback aren't very different things, but on the guitar, there's the same gear applies. A wall of rectifiers, wall of Marshalls, wall of this and that. So today we're going to be going over some great modern rock solutions, if you will. And one of those is going to be Tonality Howard Benson. This is a great plugin, and this is by a producer, two producers really, well, a producer and an engineer, Howard Benson and Mike Plotnikoff. And Mike Plotnikoff is a Canadian that got his start at Little Mountain Sound, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a famous Canadian studio that was built originally for advertising jingles that eventually became the cornerstone of rock music in the world, which is crazy. You go down the list of albums that were recorded at Little Mountain Sound. Bob Rock got his start there as well, if I'm not mistaken. And this studio sounded huge. And what was the secret of the studio? A big tin loading dock and leaving some doors open. That was the big secret. Anyways, these guys know what. If you go down Howard Benson's production career and Mike Plotnikoff's engineering and production career, you will see nothing but albums with huge guitar tones. So when they decided to work with with STL Tones, decided to work with Howard Benson for this was their debut product, remember, their very first, and I think this one was always pretty good. Do we have, are you guys awake today? Did I lose the chat? Holy smokes. Are you guys awake? Are we all good, folks? Can we talk? Are we allowed to talk today, or what's going on here, guys? Come on. So this is pretty sick, absolutely sick cabinet section. But in my opinion, this is a little bit behind some of the other cabinet sections they have. So yeah, you can kind of, it's sort of an art, like they don't give you like which mic am I using right now. It just gives you a mic here, but it doesn't really tell you which mic it is or what you're doing with it, which is it's sort of bizarre. I'm not really sure if like how did they make the IR matrix if it's just one cab and one mic? Is it a 57? I don't know. Anyways, I'm not gonna get super concerned about it, but it could be interesting. Just for fun, let's take another file here for fun, and let's put the angle like that and bump it back a little and bring that back a tiny bit. Let's see where we end up now. Let's see, I'm just stuck in metal mode there. That's not sounding too bad. I think we could probably do a little bit better. Wow. I'm the most boring dude on Earth today. That's quite scooped out, but this is about the heaviest amp you're gonna find in this particular suite. My personal feelings, but the gain is set pretty high here, so let's back it off and let's get some different settings going on. Ah! Sorry guys if I just lit anybody up there. That was not my intention. A little bit fizzy, but fizzy bubbler. A little fizzy bubbler here. Ah, that's... Wait a minute. Oops. Interesting settings here. And so this is a... if I'm not mistaken, this is the Bogner, but not my favorite amp in here anyways. We can go to the Wizard. This is a sick amp. This one is super sick. So these type of guitar tones are going to suit you for just about anything, whether it's radio rock, pop punk, even older skate punk. You're going to be able to get these to work for pretty much anything that's in that modern / mid gain territory. Well, it's not quite thrash metal, but you're kind of almost there. Oh gosh, I forgot my background again. Whoopsie. Anyways, what are you guys up to today? It's the Royal Rumble today. I think we might order or make some food. It's fun. It's on at like 2 in the afternoon, so that's kind of fun. We can watch it throughout the afternoon, and I can play some guitar while we do it. And kind of it's weird to watch a PLE or like even live sports at all. You know, it doesn't have to be wrestling, but just think about live sports, watching live sports in the afternoon. If it's not baseball or football, it's weird to me. But baseball and football, I'm used to being on in the afternoon. But even hockey, when hockey's on in the afternoon, it feels weird. It feels like it's got to be like the Olympics or World Junior Tournament or something. But when wrestling or MMA is taking place overseas, it's really strange some of the times you end up watching it at. Some of them will actually make the people that see it live see it at some ungodly hour just so it can be televised for at a normal time in North America. It's funny like that. Some of them will be like, yeah, this show is coming to wherever, Australia or something else, but you're gonna have to go see it at like 6 o'clock in the morning is when you're gonna have to show up to see it. But if it's something huge like MMA or wrestling, fuck, you don't have to tell Aussies to show up at 6 o'clock in the morning drunk to watch it, right? Canadians would be also the same thing. So I'd always found it kind of weird when you're like, wait, it's on at what time? Oh, okay, that's interesting. All right, let's change the cabinet here. This is wait, we already did cabinet 2. Now, the Wizard amps are the amps most famously, I think, used by Angus Young. Angus Young used them for a very long period of time. I believe still does. Loves these amps. Also, there's a Canadian band called The Tea Party. My wife's favorite band. I'm just kidding. It's actually like her least favorite, one of her least favorite bands. Drives her absolutely crazy. And I'm not the biggest fan, but I'm also not a hater either. There are a few of their songs that I do actually kind of dig. But the reason you haven't heard of the Tea Party before is because of CanCon, you see. There are a lot of bands that, much like the UK, Canada's not the only country that does the CanCon thing where 50% or a very large percentage of content that's heard on the radio or on video channels, etc., needs to be that, made inside that country. I believe the UK has a similar thing going on. Australia has a similar thing going on. A number of countries do that, which is cool because it's like promotes homegrown art and creation and stuff. But it's always kind of weird when these bands, sometimes some of these bands tour and they get a lot of radio play, but then they don't really get a huge turnout on the road. It's kind of a strange thing. Then you end up with this sort of this weird syndrome of CanCon syndrome where there are certain artists that you just don't tour and don't sell a lot of records outside of the country of this country. And so we get a lot of bands like that. And then you get bands that break out of the CanCon syndrome, like Nickelback and 3 Days Grace and the Guess Who way back in the day. You pick one. Bryan Adams. Nobody's talked since, Ton. It's a weird day in here today. It's a real weird day. Sometimes I choose to do genres and tone talks and artists and different plugins that people aren't really that interested in. And quite frankly, I just don't care. Because it's our channel and there's still a big market out there. There are still enough people that show up through streams and be like, wow, like, this is way too heavy for me. Do you do anything a little bit lighter? I know Ton Guitarra, he is a big fan of the rock tones. So we can't always cater to the metals. You know what I mean? Can't always cater to the metals. Still a little out. This guitar is so much fun to play, but I'm gonna start playing more lead on it because I feel like it needs to be shredded on, and I don't feel like I'm doing it this service. I feel like I'm doing this instrument a disservice by not shredding on it. All right. Wowzers. That's big guitar tones. And that is the Wizard Amp 2. And we can mix these up however we would like. Really, I just wish I knew which mic this was. Like, is it just... I don't know if they actually explain anywhere how this works. Why, you know, when they gave these more of a modern look and took the old cabinet section away, the original cabinet section looked much different, functioned much different, and didn't have movable mics. You just got the cab. And now they've gone more industry standard with it. They've kept up their plugins so as to keep up the sales as well. And this is one of those plugins that I think will always sell, because there's always going to be people that want really good rock tones. And it's not just great for rock either. It's also great for surf, for country, for a number of other things. Go through the amps here for a second. There are 5 amps in this. As mentioned, there's the Bogna, and then you get you have the Wizard, you have the Marshall, and you have a couple of Fenders here. As well as, I forgot, that's right, there was also a bass amp added to it after the fact with the Chris Lord Alge expansion. So this thing rips as well. This is a really great amp for lead work. I might dare to play, as I have been practicing a little bit, guys, but oh gosh, it's just nerve-wracking. I'm not the most gifted of lead players. I do like playing lead, but and you know, I don't know. Okay, perfect. And we'll bring it back. Not much of a lead player here, but I will give you some notes of what it might sound like for people that can play lead. That's sounding pretty good, and the lead tones on this thing are just magical. They really are. Super magical. I'm going to go for more of a lead tone, bring the bass back and the mids up and the treble up and the presence up a little bit more, and see if we can get a little more bite. Remember, that low end's not necessary. You're going to end up EQing it out in a mix anyway. Let's get a little verb in there as well. Post. All right, a little bit less in the mix. And let's see what we have here. That's a big old verb is. It's not my favorite reverb in the world, but it's okay. It's also super, super useful because you can use it pre or post. And you're thinking to yourself, why is that useful? Because if you can use it up front, you can give it more of that surf vibe that you're going to be needing. Traditionally in surf music, the spring reverb comes out in front of the amp, or at least in some surf guitar tunes. right, we'll try. We'll try the odd lick here, and we'll see how it goes. I'll tell you what. See, it's gonna take time before I can get the shreds back, guys. Not too bad. The lead tones out of this thing have always been nice. The red amp has always been one of my, I wouldn't say it's my go-to, but it's definitely my like top 5 lead amps that I will lean on a little bit. Cat hair, get off me. Thanks so much. Chacho! Good morning, my friend. Nice to see you. The tones so far are coming fast and furious. There's some really solid tones here so far. I really enjoy it. By the way, typically if we're looking at working in a mix, I'm not going to be using these post effects anyway. And that's just something that for me, I just don't do because I have to put an EQ in there. So I'm just going to take those out of the mix for now. Okay. And I can use my own. And we're going to use the rotten pool verb for something a little bit more creepy and big. And let's see what we can do with these verbs. Try that again. We'll try that one more time. Damn it. Ah! That's when the pressure's on. Getting better. We're getting better. I'm getting comfortable playing lead again. This is a fantastic lead tone right now. Holy shit. I just kind of, I wish I could play. I wish I was much stronger. Nice. I'm starting to feel that confidence coming back in my lead playing because I'm doing it more on the couch here. I never told you guys that I couldn't solo. I just told you guys I couldn't solo anymore. At one point in time, I was at a level that I would call intermediate shredder. Not an impressive shredder, but somebody that could actually play the odd lick that would make you go, oh, that sounded cool. You know, I'd never blow anybody's doors off. I've always had people in my bands that could do that instead. You know what I mean? I've never been that person that's too proud in a band and being like, no, I'm the best guitar player. I'm going to play the solos. You know, give that Michael Ammett from Arch Enemy Syndrome. You know what I mean? You got Jeff Loomis in the band and you're playing 75% of the solos. Pull your fucking head out of your ass. You know what I mean? What the fuck, dude? What the fuck? What the actual fuck? You've got, he's had an assortment of shredders, yet he's always been the guy playing more leads, even though he is 20% of the skill of Jeff Loomis. It's not shitting on Arch Enemy, because I actually don't hate that band by any means. I just was like, man, this dude, you got to give like you have Jeff Loomis in your band. Why don't you just be like, I'm going to take the night off and just fucking chillax. In Flames also, Chris Broderick is playing rhythm guitar in Flames. And that guy, that would be like you and I putting together, you know, those really, really big Legos for like 2-year-olds to get them used to, this goes here. You know, it's one of those. Not even as like the shape sorter where like the kids have to put like the circle and the square and like they have to get a little technical with things. I mean the straight up blocks where the kids just have to smash the two together and they just work. That's the equivalent of Chris Broderick playing rhythm guitar in Flames. I love In Flames though, up until they went new metal. But still, craziness though. Chris Broderick is like, you're gonna pay me top dollar to play rhythm guitar for you guys? That's fucking, I'm in. 100% in. Come on, folks. Talk at me today. Wait, what is it? Hold on. It's actually... That's literally 80s guitar sound live on stage. Like all those dudes, while playing rhythm guitar, had this big bunch of delay. Maybe not quite that much, maybe a little bit less, but still some fun tone. Ronnie Webster, what's going on? Save me. Save us. We have 5 people in here today and everybody's lurking. That's okay. Save us. I'm playing some lead guitar today, brother, and it's not going as terribly as you might think. Right on. I actually feel really good about that. This is probably the first time that I've ever actually started to lay into a couple of new lead passages. You guys know my stereotypical, I have one really good, decent lead run that I like to do on with every plugin. You guys know it. I know it. Always been able to do that one just fine, or variations of such things. But recently I've just been watching over some old videos after work, playing a couple of new patterns and really doing my exercises again. This hand is fine. There's no arthritis, not a lot of arthritis in this hand. This hand is fucked. I need surgery on this wrist. This wrist is not getting any better anytime soon. But this, I really need to just start doing the legato playing I was doing before. Just trying to get better. Not too much, just woke up. Sounds like you're doing some 80s lead stuff. Yeah, I mean, honestly, there are a lot of lead tones these days that are operating with this kind of vibe. I've got a big washy verb though, but if I wanted to just use the regular room verb, I could just do the... You gotta have delay on solos. Every shredder needs delay on their solos. And if I wanted a little bit more of a room sound, I could just turn up my room verb here. The sweeping is going to take a long time to be comfortable with in a live stream. I just can't do it comfortably in a live stream. See, I just can't. I can't. It's going to take a while, guys. It's going to take some time, but the confidence is brewing, though. The confidence is starting to feel good. And this guitar is so much fun to play lead on that I'm glad that I'm finally getting to do that. Although I'm noticing that maybe I need lighter strings. I don't know. They feel good, though, and the pick, everything sounds kind of beefy and solid, so I think I'm just going to stop fucking with it. I'm all about that Unga Chug Chug. Today is like not the... I'm a dog shit lead player. You're definitely better than I am. Well, I grew up idolizing both rhythm and lead players. You know what I mean? Like I grew up idolizing both Dave Mustaine and Marty Friedman, James Hetfield and Kirk Hammett. You know, they were both huge parts. Even though I listened to a lot of Maiden, none of those guitar players were ever a big influence on me, but Maiden's general like songwriting was. Listened to a lot of where it really started to come into picture. Like when I really wanted to start playing lead is when I heard Death for the first time and Chuck Schuldiner's playing. That was where I really was like, oh, well. So I wanted to start doing more of that. And also Wes Borland, and Eddie Van Halen style tapping always motivated me. But at some point I just slacked way off it. And then my hands just became all about rhythm guitar. And I get a little bit frustrating because, I want to be able to showcase these plugins with the best of my abilities and the best of their abilities as well. I've always kind of tried to pride myself on being able to get good tones out of just about anything. And in this case, this amp's one of its best features is for lead guitar work. So if I really want to show people this, I want to make sure that people, can hear the lead ability of this, the lead and solo abilities here. Whether it be just like actual shredding or if it's just lead, say if it's more of a pop punk thing we're after today. Let's tune first. How about that? After I bend that shit around. And then, yeah, we're not listening to pop punk today, sorry. We're just listening to the playlist. It's the Tasu Stream playlist if you're interested. It's on Spotify. I'm always adding to it. If you have something I should add to it, let me know. Even if it's more like... That's too much delay. So what we're going to do there is we're going to take my mix down a bit. I'm going to take the feedback down a bit. I'm going to slow down the delay a little bit. And I'm also going to take some of the verb sound back out. It's going to be a bit more dry with a little bit of verb. And if this was an album tone, if this was an album, like a mix I was actually working on, I would also put something like this into the mix. Whether it be before, let's even try before the amp. That would make maybe some sense. And let's take the mix down. Speed up a little tiny bit. Let's see what we got here. So if this was more of a pop punk stuff I was after, or skate punk I'd be after. You're maybe a little heavy on the delay still. I'm going to take that back in the mix even more. That's what I'm going to be looking at. it just gives you that sustain, and it lets the notes hang out a bit longer. But really, when you put rhythm guitar, drums, and bass on top, bass with a little drive, even tiny bit of snot on that bass over top of this, you're not going to hear that delay as prevalently, and you might even actually start knocking that mix knob up again, actually, as opposed to down. And the chorus you might actually want to make a bit more prevalent in the mix. So if you're doing stuff like, it's just like even Blink 182, any of the bands that use the octave chords, and whether it's hard rock, like American hard rock, or whether it's pop punk, all of those bands use those octave leads. So say it's so it might be you might hear that on any of those genres, in any of those genres. So that, using a little bit of chorus and a little bit of delay and a tiny bit of room verb, is going to give you some nice things. Another thing I actually really like to use, even though I don't like flanger that much, is the ADA flanger from Plugin Alliance. This is another one that I like to use on leads from time to time, and you'll be able to hear it here. Going to bring it up here in front. This is another one that you might hear on but you won't really hear it. It's subtle. It's so slow and subtle that you'll be able to hear that lead in the mix swirling ever so slightly, just enough to get it to stick out a little bit more when that part comes back in. So these are the kind of things that I like to point out, like when it comes to showcasing a plugin at its finest. These are the things that when it comes to building Frankenchains, not everything is going to be in the box for you. Not every cool effect that you could have is going to be inside the box, nor should it be. You stop pressuring developers to have everything inside one package and start growing some balls, taking some responsibility for yourself, and straying outside of your suites once in a while to build a chain, and you will be a happier guitar player. I promise you, if you learn how to build a chain in a DAW, rather than just relying on standalones, or maybe you know how to use a DAW and all you do is open up one plugin in it just so you can use that one plugin. You don't record anything, and that's fine too. But if you're using a DAW, you should be very least experimenting with different guitar tone ideas, like different pedals. There are so many pedal plugins out there right now, and effect pedals, boost pedals, every kind of pedal you could ever imagine. And you might have that perfect amp, and the perfect pedal might not be in that suite. The perfect pedal and the perfect cabinet for that amp might not be in that suite, but the amp itself is perfect. But you might suggest, someone might suggest an IR pack to you. You're going to try that in this and that, a few pedals. Just make sure to bypass things in between. When I say that, I mean, if we go here, I didn't. So make sure you bypass the gate, which I did not when I put pedals out front, which was a no-no. So you want to make sure that anything that's involved here inside this plugin is turned off should you want to use something out front, as long as it makes sense in the signal chain. For example, the gate, if I put a pedal out here now, having a pedal, then a gate, then an amp isn't really the way that you're supposed to set up your signal chain. So, and the gate, and nothing is going to work properly. So make sure your signal chains are done up the way they should be done up. The one thing I think this plugin could have had and really could benefit from if there's like a future update is a compressor. A compression pedal, just to maybe even just make these all subtly smaller and make 4 pedals up here, and then have something like a really easygoing dual knob Dynacomp type thing, because these amps here, amps 4 and 5 that we're not going to get into today, because these are going to be, we're going to save these for the next week's country and surfy type stream. Amp 5 and amp 4 here are both really good, and the graphics have changed a lot since back in the day. Both of these are excellent fenders, and they will give you this plugin in general will give you every single dollar, every cent that you put into this plugin, it'll give you back. If you're looking for rock tones, or maybe you're mostly a metal guy, but just once in a while you like to put together some like rock tones or play along to some whatever it is that you like to play along to, this thing can play along to. Really, it maxes out at thrash metal comfortably without being boosted to shit. I think this really does max out at about vintage old school thrash metal. That's where about as heavy as this can get, even though when it came out everyone was trying to gent it. This one is not the gent machine that you want. This one is a rock machine that you need in your collection for later. So I'm going to take this one out of the chain. We're going to say goodbye, and we're going to get to something a little bit more simplistic. This will be the BDM75 from Bogwin Digital, and we are going to use the onboard everything for now, and we're just going to have some fun. We're going to start adding some pedals to it. Maybe we're going to start messing around with some IRs. Also, the freebie today is going to be the L12X. That'll be coming. The Solidus VS 8100, you saw and heard that one earlier. Away she goes. And the Laboga DS, this thing is brilliant. We're going to also see if I can get some nice hard rock tones out of this. Actually, second time I've looked at it and said, no, I'm going to save it for the country stream next weekend. That'll be there. But we are going to go over the MRH 159, which is, in my opinion, one of the better Marshall plugins on today's market right now. Nembrini Audio also up to something pretty big, which is kind of cool. Big things happening at Nembrini Audio. I'm very excited to see what happens with that. Nice. The chat has thanks Ronnie. Ronnie came in and just electrified the chat. He's the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. Going back to it, I pride myself on being an above average rhythm guitar player. That's what I would call myself. I would call myself an above average, though not stellar or spectacular or legendary level. I would just consider myself just slightly above average in the rhythm guitar department. As far as lead goes, I had a pretty good vibe with that intermediate level shred. The note selection is important. The bending and subtle things can make it sound like you're actually a lot better than you are, which is things I'm always looking for. Those runs and stuff that are easy, but they sound really cool, like maybe in a guitar store. The may I help you riffs, where you sit down and you play a couple of really tasteful riffs and the sales guy comes over. May I help you? Fucking knobs. Now, yeah, you might be thinking, now that actually kind of sounds like an old AC/DC dad rock distortion kind of thing, but don't kid yourself. Every one of those albums that you hear, whether it be on, you guys know the albums I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to make fun of these bands because what they're doing is pretty solid. It's just all very forgettable. If you go on Sirius Octane and you listen to all these bands that have these 3-word band names, and it's like, there's just the song, the band name, and the look of the band. You even put them all in photos that are all like, take a picture of each one of these bands and put them all together. And it's almost like their album, their whole look has been predetermined. There's always one guy that's still rocking a faux hawk. There's one guy Anybody that's even remotely balding is shaving their head for sure. There's one guy that's still rocking the long hair. Usually, maybe it's the singer. One guy that's got like the aggressive like spike with like it's like black hair, but he's got like the cheetah print blonde blotches in it and stuff. One guy's wearing the flat brim like this, but he's wearing it to the side. You know, there's one guy that's still holding on to the Junko jeans with the big fan-sized legs. One guy wearing skinny jeans. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. You know it and I know it. One thing about all those bands, though, is every time they record with a producer, there's probably a modified Marshall sitting in that studio, and there's a lot of rectifiers being used, but there's also a lot of blending in of Marshall amps these days as well. There's a big comeback happening with Marshall amps on records. For a long time, that whole genre was taken over by Mesa Boogie, and sure, it's still there, very, very prevalent, prominent in there. But ever since they decided to stop making, did they not stop making the rectifier altogether? What the fuck are rock bands gonna do? What are they gonna lean on? Where are they gonna go? So if it's something if you're after more of a hard rock tone, you're gonna blend. If I was to go and record like a hard rock style album tomorrow, I would blend the Wavemind Rev F and find some sort of Marshall that blends up with it and matches up with it really nicely. This could be one. There are so many different Marshall plugins that do such a great job, and a lot of decent modified ones as well. All right, let's see what we got here. This is not even boosted. This is tight as a drum. Is that loud enough for you guys? Like, is the guitar volume good today? Sounded pretty good. This is the fucking amp knob from Bagger Digital BDM 75, part of the BDM package that also involves a JVM and a modified 800 from a fella whose name I don't know. This huge Valvorda. I don't know of his channel really, although I've heard he's fantastic. So check his stuff out. He's also got a tone pack with strange angles. Why do I feel like this is going to be great for lead? Let's try some lead work on it. Damn it. Nah, it's coming along, but it's going to take a while. I'd like to get back into tapping as well. Crank this up. Let's put a pedal out front. There's no gate. Is there a gate? Gate. That's a bit cumbersome to turn a gate off. If I'm being straight and honest about this. Let's put a pedal out front. I gotta sit up if I'm gonna do this stuff. Damn it, I just want to rip into it, but this lick is not coming across. It's sounding pretty darn good though, guys. We've got the VZ Tech free overdrive from VZ Tech. It's a plugin that you guys can grab right now out in front of the Bogren Digital Amp Knob BDM75, which is very well priced, moderately priced, affordably priced, and during sales even more well priced. This is a free delay from Nambrini Audio. You can go grab that right now for $0.00, as well as reverb that is free, but I do have the full version of this. I just haven't installed the free version and done the activation yet. So they did send it to me a good long time ago, but I just haven't done it because I don't know why. Lazy, I guess. So yeah, this is pretty sick. I'm going to take a... Wow, we've been on here for a little bit now, eh? Nice to see everybody. Shot show. We got 4 people in the house today. Chorus on bass. Hell yeah. Now, yeah, chorus on bass is legit, especially if you're in Anthrax. You got to have that shit. Especially if you were in like an 80s thrash band. There was chorus all over bass in 80s thrash and 80s rock and shit. I put too much. You put too much work on your arm trying to play a Megadeth song, and now you have pain in your elbow. Any tips? Yeah, stop playing guitar for a bit, brother. Drink some water, maybe some ice and heat. But yeah, take a break from guitar, man. If it's hurting, take a break, brother. Sometimes I would rather disable the amp sims cab and IR loader to use something like Paul. Yeah, absolutely. But in this particular episode, I'm trying to use kind of what's available the most I can instead of just constantly reaching for IRs. I want to be able to showcase the full product for the developer. And in this case, the cabs they've included sound pretty damn good. So I'm inclined to kind of want to support them. The pedal out front is up to you guys. It has some nice cut without pedals, as you can hear. Nice sustain without pedals. Again, not the best lead player, but I'm going to give it to you straight. I'm going to at least try my best to show that certain things can do certain things. If you want, just put a chorus out front of this. No boost whatsoever. And we're after modern rock tones and pop punk tones. This might also get you into that 80s metal. This might get you into thrash metal territory as well. These are really well done plugins from Bogren. The Amp Knob series is a lot of fun. I didn't like them at first because I thought, what is this wizardry? This is pure nonsense. And then I tried a few of them and I was like, all right, I understand. I do understand. And they are really quite nice and a lot of fun. Actually, the last review I did on Honest Amp Sim Reviews, I believe it was the very last review I did on Honest Amp Sim Reviews where we did the Amp Knob series. Wow, it sounds just huge. Wow, Zers. Sounding terrific up in here, So that was the BDM75. You can get that from Bogren Digital right now and not have to worry too much about it. We've got a few plugins left here today. Not going to get to all of them, very likely. So the ones that you've seen a lot, like the L12X, that can do some rock. So we're just not going to get to that today. We've done a lot of that plugin. Next, we're actually going to get to the La Boga. And I'm going to go with, where's my modern rock? Modern rock presets. And here they are, Modern Rock Glory. Let's check these presets out without the chorus pedal up front. I really have to be conscious. That's sounding delicious. If you've never seen this plugin before, it's fan-freaking-tastic. It's got an overdrive, an octaver, a fuzz pedal, and a 6-band out front. The 6-band is very handy. It's all the pedals are really, really cool. I've got a whole bunch of presets made with this thing. There are a number of cabinets. I believe there are 5. There are 5 cabinets? No, 4. 4 cabinets? All right, 4 cabinets. 2 oversized and 2 that are a bit more on the vintage side of things. I really like everything included with this plugin. It's all sick. There's nothing I can say I don't like. And I hope you guys feel the same. You guys check it out. Whoa! So in this one's got 2 different amps. You've got the 40 watt and 100 watt version of the amp. You might be thinking, do they sound the same? Nah, not even close. They don't operate the same either. They don't operate the same. They don't have the same features. They have some of the same features, but not all of the same features. And the amps are just, if you go look them up on the Laboga website, it'll give you everything. Every little piece of information that you could ever want, right down to the most technical lingity will be all yours. All you have to do is head over there and check it out. Yeah, it's very solid. Guys, yesterday, I'm still trying to catch up here. The L12X and the Solace are damn fine plugins. I agree. Very fine. The Laboga is amazing if you take time. Yes, that's the thing. It's one of those, it's picky. It's going to be picky by, this is not the guitar I made these presets with. And I can tell because you're going to have to adjust. There's a lot of presets. There are many presets included with this plugin, but you're going to have to put the work in. And you're going to have to tweak things a little bit. You'll probably find some presets that are going to be bang on what you want or very close. But my suggestion is in any plugin, never be satisfied with a preset the way it is. You can tweak every preset. And I suggest that if you find a preset you do really like, tweak it to see if you can make it so you like it more. You know what I mean? Don't just be like, oh, preset, that's good. I'm going to record my song now. No. That was made with somebody else's ears, somebody else's guitar, which different pickups than yours, different monitors, different headphones. There are a lot of factors and variables that come into the creation of a preset that definitely changes when we as the user use them. So I would strongly advise that always trying to tweak the presets, just don't save them. Just remember, you can always hit the undo button, or you can always just reload the preset to scratch, like from its regular, as it was. You can just go ahead and load it again. It'll go right back to normal. Just don't save it. And if you do save it, rename it something. You know what I mean? As we always like to say here, just make it called Beef. And then maybe you can even make it better. Well, then resave Beef, and that other original can just kind of just chill there and, still be an inspiration for new presets. Volume is loud and clear. Nice, thank you. I know it's a hated amp, but I'd love to see a developer throw out a plugin based on the Mode 4. You mean the Marshall Mode 4? Well, there's been a lot of cabinet packs based on the Marshall Mode, that cabinet. That was the greatest thing that came out of that whole thing. It was like a happy accident maybe, but Marshall put that amp out and everybody and their sister went, I don't know about this amp, but this cabinet is fucking lit. You know, like very excited everybody was about that cabinet. Why? Because it's a behemoth. It sounds amazing. And it was meant to handle big sound, move lots of air, and that's why people like it, because it's an awesome cabinet. A truthfully awesome cabinet. I don't really know much about the Marshall Mode 4, but I think another one that doesn't get a lot of love is the JCM 900. I don't really like that amp personally, but I think that amp could probably stand to get some love. Also the JVM. What the fuck? Can we get a JVM plugin, please? Anybody? Can we get one? That would be wonderful. Looking at you, SoftTube. If you've got that Marshall license, don't just sit on the old products. Give me some new ones. The bass knob STD is godlike. It is quite nice, yes. The free Sub-Zero amp knob got me to get the full suite. Yeah, it's a magnificent. Like, man, all those MLC products are awesome. I was going to say free since when? Yeah, it was limited time. Speaking of a limited time only, I'm giving you a heads up right now that Aurora DSP Mammoth, starting February 6th, and for a limited time only, will be free. And then, as far as I understand, there is a V2 for it, possibly in the works. Don't know exactly what the story is there. The Ironheart is definitely very much legit. I love that plugin. Absolutely love it. Guys, I'm interested to try some Tim Henson stuff. How do I get a similar tone? Here's the thing about Tim Henson, dude. He does have a plugin with Neural DSP. I don't really like it, but you might. Thing about Tim Henson is he can use anything. The tone is in that guy's hands. Most of the playing he does is clean. He does a lot of clean playing, and I think a lot that you can interchange a lot of different amps. You could probably interchange 10 different amps and have him play the same clean, tappity, tippity, slappity, crazy, shreddy, virtuoso riff, or whatever you want to call it, a riff or a whatever it is that he does. He does whatever he does, you could get him to do that through 10 different amps, and all 10 of those amps are going to sound very similar. Very similar. I mean, if they're all in the clean tone, they're all dialed into the way he likes them. Yeah. As for what he uses, I think he's pretty much always been a modeler guy. So I have no idea. He's not really, as far as I know, he's not associated to a whole lot of analog gear. He's always been he's been a modeler guy since way back when like the band all looked like a clone of Justin Bieber, and they all had like the hockey hair and like the flat brim hats and stuff. And their dad used to produce their stuff, and he used to go on the Reaper forums all the time, and he used to put their recordings. If you go, I'm guaranteeing you could, if you go, you might be able to look through there, the Cocos Reaper forum, and find some maybe even some very early. Geez, why is the band's name so escaped me? It always escapes me. I always want to call them Periphery. I know that's not Periphery. Shut up. I'm not that much of a fucking boomer. Anyways, you can definitely find you might be able to find some old recordings on there of the band. I do have some Marshall Mode 4 IRs. Yeah, there's lots. There are a bunch out there. Chacho, why don't you look Tim Henson up on Equipboard? Find out what he uses and see if he's... Yeah, but he's... Polyphia, thank you so much. Periphery, Polyphia. I realize they're extremely different bands. And I should know the difference, and I do know the difference, and I've been a fan of Misha Mansour's stuff. I'm not a fan of Periphery, but I've always been a fan of their mixes and the way that their productions. The guitar tone is always so good. Drum tone's always so good. Bass tone's always so good, even though they don't tour with a bass player anymore. I know that THU has a model of a JCM 900. Yeah, so does Kuwasa in the Caliburn plugin. But I mean, what I would like to see is like the one in THU is okay. And I think there's also one in Amplitude as well. There's a couple out there floating around, but I wouldn't mind seeing like a really good stab at it. I wouldn't mind seeing like a Trey plugin, a Morbid Angel Trey plugin. That's one of the things I'm going to do today. I'm going to sit and I am going to play Morbid Angel riffs. That's what I'm going to do. I am going to learn a whole bunch of Morbid Angel riffs today. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to park my ass in this chair. And I'm going to learn Morbid Angel riffs while we watch wrestling and eat fucking great food. That is what I'm very much looking forward to doing. Holy shit. That sounds like a great day. Periphery is definitely more my jam as well. If I had to choose between listening to Polyphia, although there's that one really good song. I saved it. It's the one with Steve Vai. Yeah, this one here. I like this song. It's fun to listen to if you've got like it's fun to listen to in the car. And I like the chord progression. Dun, dun, dun. I love that chord progression. And I love that it sounds like he's playing the guitar in like you can just hear the smashing the shit out of that classical in a room mic. And then there's this part. Wowzers. Is this the tone you're talking about? Is this the kind of are those the tones you're talking about when it comes to Polyphia? Because for that, what I'm hearing there is I'm hearing that's to me. If I'm gonna have to guess, okay, if we're sitting here, we're having some fun guessing. I have absolutely no real idea what it is, but if I had to listen to that and guess, I would guess that that sounds okay. Just chill out. It's to me, that sounds like the clean to slightly driven Mark II C+, with some sort of compressor out front, and then through either a 410 or a 212 IR or cabinet of some sort. That's what I heard with my ears just now. So could that be the furthest thing from what he used or whatever he used on the recording? Absolutely, 100%. I don't think that dude regularly plugs into an analog. I don't think that dude plugs into anything analog. I think the albums are probably all modelers as well. I don't think they even use analog stuff in the studio. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be absolutely incorrect, but somebody out there is going to correct me, I'm sure. But he is a phenomenal player, and I think you could probably use a number of different things. And if you were that talented, I think rather than trying to get his tone, you're going to if you're able to play the riffs. There are a number of plugins that are going to get you that tone. If you're able to play that stuff. Also, what I'm hearing is, I'm hearing what is probably sounds like a middle position, some sort of middle dual pickup position that he's using, or it could be multiple. I don't know. It sounds like there's a multiple. It sounds like he's using the position on like a strat between the bridge and the middle pickup. That, kind of activates both of those. That's, again, something that sounds like to me what he's doing, but I could be wrong. So I think with Tim Henson, it's more about pickup selection. And his Fishman set is apparently quite unique sounding. If you haven't heard that. So if we're looking at Tim Henson Fishman, he uses these pickups, and I've heard they're quite unique. He uses this set right here. But that being said, what we're hearing there is also a classical guitar. And to me, what sounds like something with single coils in it, but it also sounds a little bit like a humbucker that's just being kind of cranked back some way. I don't know. This pickup is, I've heard, very unique. High modern output, high modern active high output ceramic Voice 2, modern, passive attack, organic, bright, clear tone. I don't know. Then the neck pickup. Is that the neck pick? 3 voice ceramic. I've actually, that might be one of the next sets that, is it available in 7? Set 2 pickups, 1 Alnico, 1 ceramic. What's available? Does anybody know exactly which pickups are available from? I'm trying to choose a new set. I have to choose a new pickup set for my 7-string. Maybe you guys can help me do it. It's probably going to be from EMG or Fishman. 7-string pickups. What do we have here? Let's see what's available. Stephen Carpenter 7 strings. Oh my god. I see it. Oh man, it'd be way cooler if shit, that sucks. I was hoping the Mick Thompson would be available. Tim Henson's are available though. In 7-string. I don't know, what do you guys think? Should I give these a try in that new 7-string? Should I give them a try? I don't know. I really was hoping that the Mick Thompson had a but the Stephen Carpenter. I've heard amazing things about the Stephen Carpenter set. I've heard like incredible things about that set. Would it look good in that guitar? I don't know. But that might be something I've heard nothing but awesome stuff about these. Oh, wait a minute. That neck, 3-voice Alnico, and it's a 3-voice ceramic. Has anybody tried these? I've been using the JMP Nambrini plugin a lot lately. It sounds so good. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. It's a fantastic plugin. Trey has thought plugin would be sick. I agree. And there's a lot of interesting things coming up from Aurora DSP. So you guys are going to want to kind of keep your ears and eyes peeled, folks. It's almost the end of the stream here, but we're just kind of checking some things out. I'm going to see if there's a chance. I'm going to see if there's just a chance I can get a set of these to try. I'm really, really leery about trying more Fishman, though. I finally found the set of Fishman I like more than anything, and that's the Mick Thompson set. And now I'm just not sure. I know that these would probably support the tuning that I'm using the 7-string in, because Stephen Carpenter does a lot of really low 7-string tunings. So I think that this set might actually work out, but I don't know, and I'm leery, you know? What about from EMG? Let's go look at EMG. Let's go check this out real quick. Guitar. 7, 8, and 9-string. Okay. 7-string. Soap bar? No, we need hum. What do we got here? The Fat 55 7-string set. That would be interestado. That would be very interesting. This is all is this passive? These are passive though. Aren't they? No, they're not. Yes, no, these are... Wait, what? These are the passive models? Wait, where's just the regular 81s and stuff? Oh, good lord. Signature sets in 8-string, 9-string. Okay. Why is it only giving me certain ones, though? That's very strange. Boy, if they had the Alexi Laiho set in 7-string, that would make me so friggin' happy. 707. These are 81 8s, 81, 85 7s. I might just have to go with like a straight up EMGs. Sorry, EMG 81, like 80. Let's be honest, I'm not going to be using the neck, or am I? I don't know. Tough call, folks. Tough call. Tough call. Anyways, I'm interested in getting some new pickups for that guitar. I'm really looking at, have you guys looked at these Seymour Duncan Mortal coils yet? Are there demos yet? Let's go listen. Shall we go listen to a Mortal coil demo? YouTube. Here we go. 3 voices. All right, let's go. Watch your ears.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it just by thinking.
All right, let's listen to. I don't know if I trust everything.
Members, my friends call me Fluff, and today on Wrist Beards and Gear, we are going to check out the new Mortal Coil multi-voice active pickups from Seymour Duncan. Very, very right, Seymour Duncan in this video. And before we go any further, you can consider this time Seymour Duncan artist pickup design, meaning they require a nine of a volume pot or a tone pot. So we have voice 1, which is going to be a very active, tight, very modern kind of flavor. And then, you know,
let's hear it.
Between multiple voices, you guys are is pretty cool. Speaking of cool, let's go ahead.
What do you guys think? It's a nice fucking guitar, though, man. That's a nice guitar. This is voice 1, full mix example, walkthrough.
Passive. Neck position.
Really?
Unboosted sold with this single coil, all right? Starting with the bridge pickup.
No, I don't know if I like that as much. I don't know if I'm not sure. I'm leery about bringing more active pickups into my life. I think I've pretty much found all. Geez, can we just get an Alexi Leho 7-string set? Can we get that? They needs a 7 and an 8. I know he has a neural DSP switch. What? Wait, hold on. I've seen some YouTubers put up Mortal Coil demos. I know he has a neural DSP. Wait a minute, what? The John Petrucci tone, my friend, is probably more achievable with the neural DSP Mezzo Boogie Mark II-C Plus than it will be like with the Petrucci plugin, the Archetype. Just my opinion. Also, I think you're going to get closer. There are going to be some NAM profiles. There are some really good NAM profiles of the JP2C amp from Mezzo Boogie that are amazing. So you don't even have to spend a lot of money to do that. So, and also in the studio, I know that there's a lot going on. There's definitely a blend of tones for Petrucci's tone. So you got to be careful when you're listening to albums. There's definitely, maybe could be more than one amp at play, but generally I think for him it's either been the Mark II-C Plus or the JP2C. I don't think he's really used anything else, but there's definitely two different tones happening for rhythm left and right, and they're being kind of blended and some things that are happening. So always things. How can you get... So how can you get that without how can you get that tone without that as okay? So if you don't want to go after the neural DSP version, here we go. Let's go look. Let's go look on tone 3000. I know Emil Robe inside the NAMM Universal pack has a there's a John Petrucci pack available. See right here, the Archetype. Here's a fuck off, dude. Jonathan Augusto. Yeah, you're a hero for bringing us a capture of a plugin. A hero. Here's the one that we have in our NAMM toolkit. It's been downloaded almost 1,000 times. Emil Robe, John Petrucci. This, what he says, just as the title states, lead and rhythm settings used by John on his 2C Plus. These captures are from my Mezzo Boogie quad preamp. So he's done kind of like the Triaxis. I believe after the Triaxis they released the quad, and it's kind of, I think it's similar to a Triaxis where the Mark series amps are kind of in this little digital box and you're going to get you close. Also you'll see, yeah, there's more. You're a hero, buddy. Zappin Zobar, whatever your name is, you're a hero to your people. Capturing plugins and uploading them, you're a hero. Also there's a number of things here that are going to get you close. JP2C, this is 4-tone captures, and then if you want you can just go look up the JP2C instead. JP2C. See what else pulls up here. There's a bunch of them that are coming up here as well. So you'll be able to go and check out JP2C, Petrucci Crunch Greenback. There's IRs. There's JP2C Grind Crunch Direct. All kinds of stuff. Look at this. Look at it all. Tons of stuff here. Then you're going to have to go into Equip Board. Not Alexi Liho. Oops. Let's just go to the search bar instead. We could do a John Petrucci tone talk, but I think we'd just be around 1 amp for the most part. He did, I guess he used a Road King for a bit on the Train of Thought, recorded Train of Thought with the Road King. So there is more to it. Fractal Axe Effects. He's using it in an effects loop, which is okay, sure. Keeley modded Ibanez. This is going to be important right here. You're going to want to know that he's using a... I don't know that you're going to find a whole lot of Keeley modded Ibanez Tube Screamer plugins, but you can find, make sure you have a Tube Screamer at play. You have the Mezaboogie Mark V 90 watt amp. Through the interface, it's the input of the Mark V on top of the main tone. We use the channel one. So apparently there's a lot of amp mixing going on. The Triaxis that he used back in the day. XFX 3. Digital delay. TC Electronics is another thing you'll want to pay attention to. I don't know if there's a plugin based on this, but if there is, you want to check Audiority for that. Super Overdrive, Wazacraft modded. A Mark IV as well. So he's used a lot of different stuff. King of Tone, Analog Man. King of Tone Overdrive is an essential part of his setup. So there is no plugin based on that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go and find out which pedals inspired that guy right there and use those and see if there's a plugin based on those instead. A Randall RG80ES. Really? Did he now? It's even got the carpet on it. Nice. That's pretty cool. Let's see it. Hang on. Oh, look at how old this is. He's playing Randall heads and cabinets way back in the day. That's neat. See, this is some things I didn't know. Mark II C Plus was definitely his most prevalent amp as far as I know. You know what I didn't see on here? Oh, never mind. There it is. Mezaboogie Quad preamp. This is what he was... Oh, but never mind. It's not like a Traxxas at all. Not in a little bit. This is something completely different. Obviously. Channel 1, Channel 2. These are... I have no experience with the Mesa Quad. Although I know it is a classic piece of gear. Let's see the artists that have used it. Over the years, John Frusciante, Johnny Marr. Don't know who that is. I'm sorry if it makes me sound ignorant. Frederick Thornendal. John Squire. Rolf Kasparak. Who's Rolf Kasparak? Running Wild. Okay. That says it now. Tom Petta. Bigwig. Ah, I know that guy. That's cool. I love that Tom is on fucking Equip Board. I played this guitar right here more than once. I jumped in when the singer from the band would do a song called Carnivore. He liked to do it without playing guitar. So he would ask somebody in the crew to play the guitar. So whichever person would jump in, or friends or other bands on the tour would jump in to play guitar, for his guitar for the Carnivore song. And it is one of the coolest SGs I've ever held. The only SG whose neck I really, really liked. And I need to make, of course, there's not going to be one available. I need to put this on my bucket list of guitar list. My bucket list of guitars, this has got to go on it. What a cool fucking guitar. What's the story? Does anybody in the chat know the story about this guitar? Guitar hangs this morning. I need to know about this guitar. I need to know more about it. I know he had it, but I don't know anything else. Yeah, he had 2 of them. Very cool. And I love that there's the backwards single at the neck. Oh, that's so cool. Humbucker stinger coil, Z-shaped tailpiece. That is just so cool. I want one of those. I want one. Somebody find me one. Gotta be super rare. Gonna be like $4,000 to find one, I bet. Anyways, guys, Folks, we're out of here. Johnny Mars from the Smiths. Thank you very much for that. See, I knew I sounded ignorant. King of Tone is a TS9 and a Q blues breaker. Thank you very much. So what you need is to find a blues breaker, and there's one of those from Kuwasa that's very good. And you need to find yourself a TS9 plugin and find a way to blend them like he does. See, this is welcome to the machine. So John Petrucci is one of those guys that I don't think necessarily tone is all in the hands. You can hear the amps he's using. You can hear different albums have different tones, and you can see by the equip board there that he's used several different Mesa amps over the years, from the various Mark amps to the quad to this, that, the other thing. Also, how about a plugin based on the Mesa Boogie quad preamp? I know just the person to email about it. I think I will. Thanks so much for being here. I will not be back today. I may be back tomorrow morning. There's always a chance, but I think I might just wrap it up. I've got some presets to make, and I've got some work to do, and I've got some wrestling to watch and food to eat and all that stuff. So I'm excited to go do all that. But there is a chance. You never know. There's a chance I could come back later with a Doom Tomb, because the last Doom Tomb episode was completely plagued by my own complete incompetence. So you might see a Doom Tomb later today. Don't count on it, but if you see, keep those notifications on, and I may just come back later to fire that up and do some more, do some gross fuzzy sounds. I'm gonna try to put in my new Railhammer pickup this afternoon. If I get it done, you'll see me later today. If not, well, you'll see me next weekend. All right, folks, thank you so much for being here. Like and subscribe if we've entertained you today. If we've not, then I will keep on trying my very best to make sure that you hit that subscribe button eventually, and help us grow the community here. If you know even one person that you think would really like what we do here and would enjoy being part of our chat, well, you know what? Invite them to be part of our chat and come by and have fun with us. Amp Hub has a really good Mark II C+. It's pretty good, yeah. Emil Robe is really good. Yes, his stuff is fantastic. Do some Redemption? What do you mean? Oh, Redemption. I get it now. Doom, yeah, and the VZ Tech Fuzz, please. Okay. Cool beans, I'm in. Okay. You might see me later today in a Doom Tomb episode, folks. You might see it. So thank you so much for being here. If I am going to be back, it's going to be a little bit later on, like maybe even almost close to the evening EST here. We'll see what the wife and I have planned, but I may jump on later with some filthy tones, and it's going to be hazy in here, if you know what I mean. Thank you again, and I will see you guys next time. Cheers.